Hey there, folks. I'm Isaac, and I'm fighting blight cysts.
And I'm Claire, and I'm not fighting blight cysts.
And this is Make That Game,
where we pitch the latest,
the greatest
new video game ideas
that aren't ever going to get made.
No, but it's still fun to talk about them.
Yeah, And hey, if you want to make them, go ahead. Yeah. Unless we TM.
Right. We just asked that you say we were inspired by this really cool podcast, Make That Game. And
that's true.
We get more listeners.
If your game's big and it opens up and it says, inspired by Make That Game podcast with our little logo.
Mm-hmm. Well, reach out to us before you just start slapping your logo on things.
Yeah. We'll probably want to do like a little content review to make sure that it's the correct tone we're going for.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Anyway, well, what do we do at this podcast then if we're not making games?
We pitch them and we ditch them.
Yeah, which is funny because the podcast is called Make That Game. Well, we don't make that game.
Yeah, no, that's a call to it's a call to action.
Yeah,
we're telling people to make that game.
Right.
And that game is the ones that we say.
Right.
We say the game that you should make. So I hope you're listening, and I hope you're taking this to heart. Yeah. That you need to go out there and make this game that one of us is about to say. Who's going to say the first game?
I don't know. You usually are the one who takes it.
I'm the one who
particular segment. You usually do it.
All right. Well, I'm going to take the reins that are so rightfully mine, I suppose.
Yeah.
And I'm going to pitch it to you. Well, okay. That's bad wording. I thought I was doing something clever. No, I'm not, because I want you to do the pitching.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you start. What's your game idea?
My game idea is I don't have a name for it. And I know. And it's an I Spy game.
Okay. Okay, tell me more. So,
you know how in I Spy books, it's like find these objects and then they're hidden in a very chaotic scene.
Okay, that's what I was gonna ask. Because there's I Spy with my little eye, something blue, like the driving game, and then there's like
I Spy the
books.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so this is like the books, and it's a 2-player game, asynchronous.
Okay.
And so one player sets up the game, and the other player finds the objects. So it's actually a game design game because you're learning how to make a good I Spy game.
Okay. It's like the Mario Maker of I Spies.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I do think it relies on someone else playing the game, whereas Mario Maker, you can play your game and you don't really... I mean, you can share it to like more people, but...
Oh, that's true. But you can't really do your own.
I Spy because you know exactly where the things are.
Yeah.
But yes, it is very Mario Maker in that sense. So it would give you like a setting. Like, I mean, the inspo was the restaurant we went to today. So like a small restaurant with like cluttered objects. And then there'd be like a bank of objects you could put in. And I imagine the bank of objects wouldn't necessarily change, so that you have to be creative about how you're like hiding them. Like,
yeah, okay. It's been so long since I've looked at those books. So how did the books gave hints of what you were looking for, or like explicitly said?
It would, it would tell you. It'd be like, find this clown. And you're trying to find the clown,
or like find the letter B.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, so like that's what. So like whatever you add to the scene, it'd be like find the pitchfork, and then.
Okay.
So obviously, like you want it to be hard enough that it's fun and challenging, but not too hard that it's literally impossible. And so over time, you're going to learn better how to design an I Spy game, and then the person guessing gets to play an I Spy game. So and the idea too would be hopefully you'd switch or fight over who gets to play what. But I see it as asynchronous because you're doing two different things, but also you can't really play at the same time.
Right.
So you'd probably be over the computer and sending people games.
Yeah. It'd be more like you'd set up like the Mario Maker thing. Like you'd set up like a level, and then people would be able to download it, or like you would send it to your friend, like, hey, play this.
But I want the play part to be more part of the game cycle, like the game flow, because you can't get better if people don't play your game. Like what, you're going to design like 10 levels before anyone plays it if you do it that way. So I want it to be like you can't move on until someone plays it.
Oh, like you play one level and then somebody has to play it?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Gameplay loop. That's the word I was looking for.
You want to integrate people playing it into the gameplay loop.
Right, because otherwise it can become one-sided, and that's not what I want the game to be. I want the playing of the game to be part of it. I mean, maybe it could be that like you're both designing a level and then both playing a level that you designed at the same time. So like you and
Okay, but then that's not asynchronous anymore, you know?
A little bit, because we're designing a different level. So like you'd be designing like a bathroom level and I'd be designing like a playground level, and then you'd play my playground and I'd play your bathroom.
Yes.
So it's still a little asynchronous. It's not like we're both playing bathroom at the same time.
Right. But you are both doing things at the same time.
Yeah, well, that would make it better, I guess. Seemed like you were implying that the asynchronicity would be a challenge, so I was coming up with a new way to do it.
I mean, all right, so here's where I'm coming from with that. All right, you go to play your game. All right, you like to make the I Spy. You make an I Spy. You make one. And then you either have to find somebody to play it. You have to go find your mom, you find your sister, cousin, one of your friends at school, or wait for someone on the internet to play it. And now you can't do that part anymore until somebody does that.
Yeah.
And so like, okay, like imagine if in order to, like you're playing The Sims and you got to play one day and then, I don't know, somebody else had to play one day of Sims before you got to play Sims again.
I mean, the funny thing is that's a little bit true, because I didn't own Sims 2 for a long time, so I could only play it on Fridays for an hour. So I'm used to that. But but I see what you're saying. I mean, yeah, that's why I was trying to come up with a solve for it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't imagine it would be like that. I imagined you'd like call or text your friend and be like, "We're gonna do this right now," and then they're like, "Okay, I'm ready," and they're like, "Okay, I sent it to you." Okay,
so that would be synchronous multiplayer.
Okay.
If it involves both people playing at the same time, that's synchronous. Asynchronous is I do something, I email you, you get to it later.
Oh,
like
you know
an
what
email.
I was thinking about?
Like a phone call is synchronous.
You know what I was thinking about? It wasn't
asymmetric.
Yeah.
You were okay. I almost thought that was going there.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I meant.
So
because they're doing different things.
Okay. All right.
I don't even know if that's right, but that's more of what I was thinking about.
Okay.
When I said the words.
You call up your friend.
Yeah.
You are playing the game. You're making a level. All right, let's say it takes you 45 minutes to make a level. What are they doing while you're making the level?
I don't know, eating a snack, looking at Reddit.
Okay.
Like, what do you...
Okay, all right. Okay. Sorry, these are all just like, this, in my head, the solve for all of these is you upload it and then you can like send the link, or other people can download it and then you move on with your day.
No.
And like people upvote it if they like it and downvote it if they don't like it. If your levels keep getting downvoted, you either figure out why or you keep doing whatever you want. Like,
no, I want it
just
to
like
be
Mario
live.
Maker.
I want someone to be able to watch someone playing your level and going and like giggling because you can't find it.
I mean, that's still possible. Just like in Mario Maker, right? That's still possible. You can giggle over my shoulder while I'm playing.
Well, when you play my Mario Maker levels, it's more you giggling at how bad I was at designing a level.
That's not true.
No, you're right. It's me giggling about how bad I was at designing a level.
Okay, yeah, you are your own harshest critic.
That's not good. I've only made, I think, one. I need to
You need to get back into it. You were so hype on that.
I know. Well, it's just a lot of things you get hype on, then you forget about them.
Yeah.
Mario Maker is a whole beast. I learned so much on the stream at GDQ that I will never be up to that level. Anyway, yeah. So, I mean, it could be the way I just described it, where it's like you both design a level and then you both play that level that you designed. So it's like two separate levels being designed and then two separate levels being played.
Maybe if it has like a cap on how much time, like you can set a cap, because if one person's done in 15 minutes and the other person takes 45 minutes, then it's like, okay, all right.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that's my game. That's it.
All right, let's come up with a name for it.
Okay.
All right.
Hidden object challenge.
Hidden object maker.
Hidden. Where is it?
Where is it? The hidden object game with friends.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. I'm trying to incorporate your spying on a spy. You're a spy spying on a spy at a party. But this is like part of that cinematic universe.
It's a part of.
I guess it's not a cinematic universe if it's
a
gamic
universe.
A gaming universe. Okay.
Is that anything? Anything?
We'll workshop it. We'll workshop it.
All
the
right.
MGU, the Marvel Gaming Universe. Gamic.
The Make That Game universe. The MTGCU. No, I don't know where the C came from. Don't ask me. Don't even ask me.
I like the Learn 'em Up Kids universe.
Yeah,
the extended Learn 'em Up Kids universe.
That's a good one. I do someday want to make a bonus episode that's just a supercut of all of our Learn 'em Up games, so that you can enjoy every Learn 'em Up all at once.
The Learn 'em Up episode. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that's my game. I came up with it in the car on the ride home. So I think, what's your game?
You're really showing them how the sausage is made here.
We talk about that all the time. It's not brand new.
I try to at least pretend most of the time.
Do you? Because you're always like, I didn't come up with the name.
Yeah, that doesn't mean that I didn't. Yeah, okay. All right. So my game today is Necromonkey.
Like Necromunda. No?
Wasn't thinking that, but yeah. And so yeah, today I do have a name. So eat that egg soup.
Egg soup sounds good.
Hat? Eat that crow. Eat your own hat? What's the phrase I'm trying to think of? Egg on the face is one thing. But
I don't think
I'll eat crow if that comes true. I think is the phrase.
Right,
that
or like I'll eat my own hat.
Yeah, okay.
So what you're saying doesn't work.
All right,
eat that hat.
All right, okay. Listen, all right, Necromonkey.
Put that in your bonnet.
Necromonkey is a 3D platformer,
okay,
la Super Mario 64, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, probably most in sync with Donkey Kong 64. Because of the monkeys.
But it's going to look more like Kirby and the Forgotten Land.
Yeah, it'll probably have more modern.
Great.
Probably have more modern graphics.
I like to rank each game based on the nausea scale. So
yeah, N64 games hit Claire where it hurts.
Yeah, I'm not built for the N64, and it's not built for me. But Kirby Forgotten Land did not make me sick one time. So
that's good. But yeah, okay. So a 3D platformer where you are an undead monkey navigating the jungle levels to eventually defeat the lich who rose you from the dead. You want to be dead again. You want to maintain death because death is pretty cool, I guess, for that monkey. Being a shambling zombie probably bad. But anyways, all right. So the gimmick here. So I've got two gimmicks. One of them I would like opinions on.
Okay.
So the main gimmick is that the various body parts, or like the limbs that you have, can be removed.
Okay.
And like held in your other limbs. So like if you need to reach a particularly far away thing, you can rip one arm off, and then now you have two arms of distance to like grab onto a ledge or like a hook or something. And then like you could use your tail as like a literal whip to like whip enemies. And I'm also thinking of using your tail like to grab things in like the 3D environment to like jump through the jungle. Like the I don't think monkeys actually use their tails for like swinging through, but like in cartoons that's what they do.
Right.
And I'm trying to grab that vibe.
Got it.
So the awkward thing that I don't think works is I want each like limb to be independently controllable.
Okay.
But I can't figure out how that works on like a controller. And this is something where like a cardboard prototype, which I've talked about before, probably would come in handy. Yeah, and like actually like not necessarily cardboard, but if I like grabbed a controller, I could probably play around with it.
I think doing left R, right R, left right, right R.
But then each arm has like multiple actions that you can do with it. Like if each arm, each leg, and the tail.
Yeah, so you'd hold down one, and you get like a pie menu, and you go bloop bloop bloop, ba-deep, boop.
But so the awkwardness is like you'd be platforming, like you'd be jumping, and like mid jump you'd have to then figure out, okay, right arm needs to reach out and grab in that direction, but specifically grab as opposed to
I thought you meant like this
things.
would just be like during battles or something. Like you'd have to pause it no matter what, right?
No. I'm trying. I was thinking like real time, like how to make this work.
I don't know if it works to have multiple actions for each limb all the time.
Yeah, maybe it would have to be like context. Maybe there would be like an interact button. So if the closest thing in the because like you would have to press. All right, so like left arm would be like the left forward trigger. I forget I think every console calls it something different, but I'm going to call it like the left. I'm going to call it the left shoulder button. So you press the left shoulder button, and then you need to aim where you want the left arm to go, probably with one of the D-pads, and then you have to like say what action it's doing. Or I guess maybe if it detects something in the direction that you point it to, it'll automatically do a context appropriate thing. So like you reach out your left arm towards an enemy and it'll do a punch. If you reach out your left arm towards a vine, it'll grab the vine.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That it would be context based. That way you could use the same button, but it would do multiple things based on context.
But then how would you release from the vine so that you could jump off?
Let go of the button.
So in order to hold on to the vine, now you want to do something with your right arm. So you press the right shoulder.
You could just have people who like can memorize things well, I guess. Could hold down, like you hold, and then there's like you use the up, down, left, right buttons to like do a different thing, you know?
Yeah, my thought is that you would probably have to have it. You would have to have like release commands. And if you don't use release commands, like you would like hold on to something. So like if your left arm grabs a vine, it stays holding onto the vine until you explicitly tell it not to. So like you could jump onto the vine, and then you could use your right arm to like throw a coconut or whip your tail at an opponent on the right, and you stay holding on, and then you can release the left arm and
this feels like it has like too much of a potential to become QWOP.
So that's kind of my thought process is like it would be very QWOP-like, and that could be both appealing and a massive turnoff to it.
I don't think it's as complicated as you're making it in the sense of like the controller itself. Like I think there's enough controller combinations that it will not be a problem.
Okay.
But I do think that the adoption of it would be difficult. But I mean, think about like Tears of the Kingdom. That has a ton of weird controls and release and like and hold on and move and blah blah blah. So I don't know. I feel like you can do that.
Yeah, and those are usually like okay, the entire character will do this one thing.
I'm thinking about like the hand, like magic hand and stuff.
Yes, I guess I don't see like because like that to me I don't know, that doesn't seem like a complicated like I have to do multiple things at the same time kind of thing.
All right.
That's just
wild thing to say, but okay.
You're not like managing a monkey's left arm and right arm independently.
No, but you're managing a lot of like spatial awareness and also building and also sometimes other things at the same time, and you're maneuvering a lot of different I'm thinking from a controller perspective, you're managing a lot of buttons at once to manipulate the things the way you want to.
Yes.
So I'm saying if you apply that same theory to what you're describing, I don't think it's that different.
Okay. All right. Well, listeners, write in. Tell us what you think of Necromonkey's theoretical control scheme.
What I don't understand is you said one of the gimmicks is that he can like use his limbs for like remove his limbs and stuff, and like you haven't talked about that at all.
Okay, well, yeah.
That seemed like a really cool gimmick. And when you started describing the control part, I thought it was going to be mostly in order to control that feature. But you didn't talk about that at all.
I mean, yeah. So that seems pretty easy from my perspective as far as controls. Like you'd press the rip off arm button, and then you'd press a button associated with like which limb you want to rip off. So like that's I guess that's one of those like, here's a context, like, okay, I want my right arm to rip my left arm off so that my right arm has longer speed. So like you would have to press the button that says that you're working with the right arm. You would have to press another button that is associated with like ripping a limb off, and then you would have to press a button associated with the limb specifically to rip off. You wouldn't be able to do that context sensitive wise because you'd be ripping your limbs off left and right if you ever tried to like
I
go
feel like
across.
That's so doable. You just have to have a limited amount of actions. But yeah, like you hold down L, you move the button pad, and you press B, and then there you go.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Boom. All right.
I don't know. I think that works, right? No?
Yes.
And I think that you should have it be, if you like, the let go is that you let go of the control, because that kind of creates what we've talked about before, is that feedback of what I'm doing is what's happening.
Right.
So I think you should do that too.
But I don't think you would, because I
think it'd be really fun to swing from tree to tree and be holding on and letting go literally. I think that would be cool.
But okay, here's the problem. If you are using your left arm to hold onto a vine,
yeah,
and you want to kick with your left leg,
yeah,
you are currently holding the left arm button.
Yeah,
you're currently holding the direction that arm is like holding in, and you're holding the grab button. Now
no, there's no grab button. The arm button's the grab button. You don't need an extra button.
All right. So anyways, you're pressing the left arm button. You're holding like the direction that it's like grabbing onto.
Well, I think you only need to press that probably. Like you'd hold, press, let go. You'd still be holding the arm. And then you could hold the leg with your other left finger.
And then
press.
And now you've got both the left trigger and the left shoulder button held down, and you press the directional button. And now that says to the controller that you want the arm and the leg to move in whatever direction. I just kicked a salt lamp. I just motioned the arm and the leg moving at the same time, and I kicked.
You're asking me to solve a problem you created, so I feel like no answer is wrong.
No, that's yeah. I'm just scoping out. Okay. I'm just scoping out the problem. I'm just scoping out the problem.
I think you need to dial back a little bit what you're trying to do, but also I do think it's very possible.
Yeah, my guess, I'm not sure if it's worth it, or if it's something that people would enjoy.
It doesn't matter if it's worth it, because we're not going to make that game.
That's true. We are not.
I like the name though, and I did like the concept a lot.
Yeah.
It just got very in the weeds.
Yeah. Oh, also, here's an important detail of it. You do not start the game with your tail. You have to play through some levels to get the tail as a power-up.
I guess I like it, but then it makes me think too yucky, because it's like, oh, it's missing.
You're playing a zombie monkey, so it's going to be gross no matter
already
what.
Yucky.
Yeah, but it's not going to be like hyper-realistic graphics. It's going to be a cutesy cartoon mascot monkey zombie.
I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my game idea. Let's talk about something.
I don't know if it's going to be a good discussion today.
Oh, well, whatever. if every pork chop were perfect, then we wouldn't have hot dogs.
Okay. Anyway, I was going to talk about escape room game design.
Yes. So, yeah, normally we do talk about video games here, but escape rooms are games. And some video games are, I would say, escape rooms.
I would say so too.
Ever heard of Myst?
That's true. We were going to mention Myst. So I will say, games like Myst, I guess, do run into this issue, but a physical escape room, for those of you who don't know, who have never done an escape room, I should probably just describe briefly
let's talk about what is an escape room.
Because there is a lot of misconceptions. So for background too, I worked in an escape room probably, I think it was like 2 years. I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah. It was
those years.
It was a significant amount of time in my life. Loved it so much. And so we got a lot of people who it was their first escape room experience come in. And I think the biggest misconception is that you're going to be physically locked inside the room. And the concept of an escape room is that you escape, which does imply you're physically locked in. However, that would be illegal.
I've never actually done an escape room where the idea was to escape. Every escape room I've done is like to find the treasure.
The one we did had an escape.
Oh, was it? Wasn't the one that we did the one where, spoiler alert, we won't say which one, but I thought it was the one where it turned out the person who like died was an alien or something.
I don't remember.
And we watched
that part.
a video on the PC, like what we unlocked the PC. Like we weren't.
I don't know if I did that one with you. I don't know what.
I don't know who else I would have done that one
we did
with.
like it was like a speakeasy, and there was like a casino.
No, that was the one I did with my work. You must have done it at a separate time.
No, I did. I thought I did that one with you. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But
no, it matters deeply. No,
we'll figure it out. We can figure it out off air.
Yeah. Okay. Fine.
Well, it was Manch Vegas. I have the little. Anyway, I have the pin. I have a pin to prove what we did. And the stamp in I probably have the stamp in my escape room passport.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll have to check that out.
The passport. Yeah. I might not have brought it with me because I don't know if I wanted to look. That was our second date, so I don't know if I want to be too nerdy. Anyway, but so even if the goal, like I guess a lot of the rooms we designed, the goal would be like find this document, but it's like the document will usually there's one locked door in the room. And the document will tell you how to open that door, and then you do escape and like enter into the hallway. Like that would happen at every room that I ran in my escape room. Mine. I mean, I didn't own it, but the escape room I worked at. Leaving the room was still part of the goal.
Oh, okay.
But you're right, though. What I'm saying for those escape room newbies is that it doesn't mean you're literally trapped in the room because again, that would be illegal. We cannot lock human beings in a room. That's a fire hazard.
Unless you sign waivers. Hazard. I feel like I've heard of at least one super intense escape room or maybe haunted house experience.
Usually the haunted house experience you might be thinking of because there is one that's like you might die and that has to be fine with you. Yeah. Usually for escape rooms in America, there's different regulations in different countries. There has to be at least a quick release. So even if the only door in the room is barred, there has to be an emergency button to like open it.
Okay.
In case of emergency.
Okay.
Because it's like, yeah, one, we don't want you to go to the bathroom in the room. And people joke about that. And it's not funny to anyone working in an escape room to joke about going to the bathroom in a potted plant. Okay? You can leave and go to the bathroom. It's okay. But also it's a fire hazard. So anyway, but the unique thing about a video game kind of escape room style and a real life escape room is in the real life, you've got people with hands in the space.
They can get their grubby little mitts on anything.
And they will. And so I think the hardest part of an in-person escape room game design is making sure there's like enough red herrings that it's interesting, but not so many that they get completely obsessed with like a document that's literally a prop. And also you have to be so careful about what order you reveal information in.
Yes.
And making sure that that everything is revealed in the correct order. Those are like the two most important things.
And in video games, that's pretty easy to script. Like you just don't make things, you make set pieces not interactable with.
Right, until something happens and then it like cues something else to be allowed to be shown. Right. But in real life...
In real life, you can pick up the potted plant and you can walk across the room with it. Not every video game allows you to do that.
Right. And so that is the biggest challenge. And like to also like, basically, I don't want to say idiot proof, but it's like you have to think like how many different ways will someone try to get into this? And can they actually do it before they're supposed to? Is something we think about quite a lot in the escape room land. So I do think that is like a different, I mean, obviously all game design, you are thinking of the player, I would hope. Yeah. And how they're going to interact with the world, but because we're not coding the world, this is the real world.
Right. The world is coded for you.
Right.
The engine is physics.
Yeah. So it's just you have a lot more considerations, and there is this fine line of. I guess there's a lot to talk about. I was like, I didn't really know I could get, but like with the design, because you think about it. If you're let's say you're designing a room like in Myst, and there's pictures on the wall and the pictures aren't part of it, you can just make them not clickable.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it's very clear that they're not part of it. If I put pictures on the wall of an escape room,
you have to put a red sticker on it.
Right. To be like, this isn't part of it. And that is actually part of it. This
is setting pieces.
Yeah. And so there's a line too of like how rich, because most escape rooms, you want it to be really richly detailed, really interesting to look at.
Immersive.
But also you're like, we got to be careful. And it doesn't help that there's a lot of different rules at different escape rooms. So there are some escape rooms where they encourage you to like rip things off the wall and like destroy stuff. And that's part of the game. And then there's also escape rooms where that is not the case. And so, you just have to be very clear.
That's buck wild to me that you would encourage people to do anything for.
I don't think I have the speech memorized anymore, but there was a lot of things I had to cover when I entered people in an escape room. It was like, no outlets or light switches are fake. There is nothing in the ceiling. There will never
drop ceilings. Like people have.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
There's nothing in the ceiling. There's never a need to physically move any furniture. Besides like opening drawers or anything like that, but like don't move a desk.
Don't move the armchair. The sofa, nothing's under it.
If you're trying to pull on something and it's not moving, it's not going to move and you're not supposed to move it. But yeah, I'm glad you reminded me of the dots, because the escape room I worked at actually had a system which was we would put dots on certain things that were not part of the puzzle that people had gotten confused by. So it wasn't like everything was dots, but we basically said, hey, if you see this dot, that means it is not part of the puzzle, just to help people.
So the way that I've always seen it is like dots would represent something. Do not touch this.
Yeah.
Like they would put it on paintings and stuff on the wall just so that people would not
Maybe
pull
that's
the
how we
painting
did it. I don't
off.
remember exactly.
But I think I've been to rooms which had different color dots that represented different things as well.
Yeah, because now that I'm thinking about it, we had a mirror that was part of a puzzle, but I think it had a dot on it because I think it was like, you don't have to touch it, but you did have to use it. I don't know if I can't remember how we implemented that. Anyway.
Yeah.
But that's okay. But basically what we're saying is there's ways to indicate to people like, hey, this is a problem. Don't do that.
Yep. Yeah, video games. I'm gonna interject every once in a while. Video games, as we mentioned a couple times, like don't really have this problem because you have to, as the game designer developer, you have to implement every interaction. So you already have control over that. If you don't want someone to touch the painting, it's not like usually. I mean, there might be an engine that you're using that works differently, but like if you're coding it from scratch, especially like. If you don't code a way for them to interact with that painting, you don't have to worry about them interacting with that painting. They literally cannot. You've designed a world where one of the rules is this is not something that you can interact with.
Yeah.
And then that goes into the classic adventure game design thing of like pixel hunting. Especially like this was very common in like Flash games, like adventure, like point and click games. Which, some of the earliest escape rooms, I would say.
Yeah, I would say.
Flash had the problem where unless you specifically coded against this, your mouse pointer would turn into a little hand if it was interactable with. So people wouldn't bother, or if they got frustrated, they would just, okay, I'm just going to put my hand over everything in the room.
I've done that in games.
Click.
I've done that in games. Not quite that way because it wasn't like... So I guess like that, but I've done that in like, I think Nancy Drew games do the same thing, or I don't know. You can always tell. I feel like you can always tell when you play.
Well, so another thing is this is a problem that happens with like older cartoons, especially as well. The background is drawn like in one style or with certain colors.
So I can always tell what's going to move.
Exactly. Yeah. You can always tell what's going to move. And so some games, the interactable object, like the background is like some nice piece of art. The interactable object like has lower resolution.
And it's this like cartoony looking thing. And you're like, gee, I wonder which painting it is.
Yeah. Oh, that's probably going to have an animation when I click it, and then it creaks open. Wow.
Yeah.
I modern games I don't think have that kind of issue.
No. Well, not that I've seen, but I also haven't played like a game like that's modern, to be honest.
Yeah.
now that I think about it, right?
I'm sure. Okay, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, Disco Elysium.
Oh, yeah.
Probably would qualify. Yeah, no, it's 100%
so.
an adventure game. It's just not the same style as like the old point and click adventure games. You have a little bit more control and a different perspective, really. And I like to run around with like tab or alt or some. If you have one button pressed, it like shows you every interactable item in the room. And so, why explore manually when I could just be like, all right, highlight everything that I want to click. Okay. And that goes back into the escape room. Like that pile of papers, they did not code an interaction with that. And so you never have to worry about them touching that. But in an escape room, the players, the humans, can walk over and they can scatter that pile of papers.
Oh, they can and they will. They can and they will. So I guess I can just talk maybe about like how I see a good escape room design.
Yeah.
So generally, I mean, I'm assuming, and I have never built an escape room. I am working on a miniature one though, so that should be pretty fun. But you do probably want to work backwards, and when you're building one, I think think about the end puzzle and then how you're going to get there. That's how I would do it.
Oh, okay, yeah. Start from the end state.
Yeah.
And yeah.
But I'm going to start. I'm going to go linearly because that's how I was like trained to reset them. Or like not reset, but trained to like think about it. Because my job as a game master in the escape room was to help guide people through their experience. Because that's the other thing too, is you only have a certain amount of time. It's not like a video game you can go in and keep retrying. And so to make sure people have fun, part of it is giving the right hints at the right time.
Yep. The human version of the hint system.
Yeah. Is me.
Yeah. And you're also somewhat like the game engine itself. Like sometimes like you monitor, and if they are breaking the rules, like you put them back on track. You say, hello, you are breaking the rules. Please stop doing that.
Well, and then also it's like, I think the biggest thing with the nudges is if they're so off course. There's two things. They're either so off course, they've spent like 10 minutes looking at something that is not relevant. It's like, we have to get you moving on from that thing. The other thing is they're so close, but they're missing like one tiny thing. Or they literally typed in a number wrong and then gave up. And it's like, no, you actually had the right number. You just typed 5 instead of 4. Please try again.
As a game master, how did you have visibility into like would you know if that happened?
So
like if they just did a typo?
Kind of. So we had basically our communication style, and there's a lot of different systems. We would usually type messages onto a TV screen for them to read.
Oh, okay.
And there's a sound that alerts them to look at the screen. We're looking, and we have cameras in each room, and we can see what puzzles they're currently working on.
But did you have enough fidelity to see like if they put the wrong number in, or was that just like a random example?
I mean, that was a random example, but there are times when I would say like, tell me what numbers you just entered.
And then if they said 578, you'd be like, no, that is correct. Try that again.
Exactly. And also sometimes they don't know how to use the locks. Like they're putting it on the wrong place. Like I'm like, are you lining it up with the black arrows on the lock? And they're like, oh. And it's like, yeah.
So I'm one of those people who don't know how to use like a padlock. Like in high school and middle school, I dreaded using lockers. I tried not to.
The twisty locks, we don't even use those anymore in the escape room because people just can't use them.
Oh, okay, good. I'm not the only one.
So I'm talking about the like linear ones with the numbers that spin on the barrel.
Yeah. Oh, and they're like
they'll just line it up wherever they want. Yeah.
Oh my god.
And it's like that's not nope. And then the worst ones where we have directional locks. Have you seen those in escape rooms? Super popular in escape rooms. Basically, it's like a big circle and it goes in the 4 directions. It's like with a button in the middle and you can slide it in each direction.
Okay, I don't think I've seen this.
It's very useful in an escape room because you can use directions as clues. So like north, south, east, west, whatever. You put it in an order, you enter it in this lock. But like people hadn't usually never seen this lock before. That was part of our initiation into the room was we would demonstrate the directional lock because it's a really unique lock. And that was hard too. So sometimes it really is just me being like, so basically what I would do is notice, did they open all the right things to get the right number? Like, should they have the right number at all right now, right? Mm-hmm. And if that was true, because you could see that, if that was true, then I would start being like, hey, what number did you try? How did you do it?
Wow.
Have you tried lining it up with the arrows on the lock? Yay!
Only all this was through a TV screen, through text.
Yeah,
so they got no tone.
And then
they did not get the patronizing tone.
No. And well, you dread having to go in there, but like sometimes you're just like, I'm coming into hell.
Oh, geez.
That's the worst.
Imagine if a video game did that to you. Imagine if you are doing like an adventure game and you get something like so wrong for so long that like a programmed entity like and just like bursts into the room and is like,
I
no,
gotta fix this.
The door just opens for you and you're like, oh, I guess I solved the puzzle.
I guess that's restarting the computer or the game. We also did have, there's a ton of fail safes you need. So I guess it is like we're like the physical code, but like we all had buttons for like the major puzzles in our room as we were watching, because sometimes people would do the right thing, but the puzzle is like just a little finicky or something, and they're getting frustrated, and we could just open it for them remotely, and it's like, I guess that would be kind of like a hitbox kind of situation. So like the hitbox is too small, but they're hitting it.
Okay, yeah.
So we do that because we had a lot of like magnetic lock systems that sometimes if like something was like, I'm thinking of a specific puzzle. It's not there anymore, so I can talk about it without spoilers. But basically, you needed to put different colored beakers in a certain order on a cabinet.
Okay.
And each beaker had a magnet in the bottom, and if you put them in the right order, it would open.
Were the magnets like different strengths, or?
No, it was the order that you put the magnet in.
But like, how did the puzzle know what order magnets are in? Because like.
So no, it was like middle. Like you had to put it.
Oh, that's complex. Holy crap. Was that hooked up to like a computer? Like a little Arduino board?
I don't think so. Our the owner of she bought a lot on like weird websites for escape rooms.
Dark web.
That had
dark web stuff.
Not dark web, but basically specific escape room websites that had puzzles like that you could install and kind of like skin to whatever you wanted.
That's wild.
Well, we had one puzzle that was my favorite, was this knocking one, where you had to like knock on a cabinet in a specific order and pattern, and then the cabinet opened. Like that was really cool. That was just a magnetic lock situation.
Okay, there must have been a computer processing like
small though, really, because it wasn't
like a little Arduino. Yeah. I don't know if Arduinos are thing anymore.
I don't know exactly how that stuff works. I'm just saying. Okay, but anyway, so those are the fail safes. Also, a couple times. Because our rooms usually were 2 rooms. That was also fun because people think one door is going to be the end. And then it's like, there's a whole nother room. If there was a mistake, we could go into the second room before they entered it and we can fix it. So that's something we can do too.
Good.
But hopefully we never have to do that. Anyway, so basically you want to start with, you start with a room with a couple different locks that you can see. And some loose clues, like clues that are just hidden within a book that's reachable on a shelf, a drawer that doesn't have a lock. And definitely, so the first, let's say you have like 3 locks going on to start. You want to make sure that first, that the locks are not the same type of lock, and that there's some kind of clue to link them to the clues you're finding. Because you're going to find like maybe 3 clues for one lock, 4 clues for another. So one example could be a lock that's red, and all the documents that help you unlock that are also red, or...
If it's a directional lock, there's a bunch of maps on the billboard, and they all have a different direction facing up.
Or you find a document
highlighted
that has looks like there's 5 numbers on it. Well, obviously that's not going to go to a 4-number lock. So you have to be thinking like, how is someone going to interpret this? They have to be able to know what to put it on. And then inside those first locks are going to be clues that work together to help you solve a bigger lock in the room.
Yeah.
Like a more important lock. And they also will probably reveal, at least one of them, another locked situation, whether that's a box, a drawer, or a whole entire area of the room. And then you just kind of keep going like that.
It's like a Russian nesting doll.
Yeah, but you also, I guess part of the game design too is this multiple lock at once. Like it would be a really boring escape room if you walked in and there was only one thing locked at a time. You know, like say like there's a cabinet locked, you unlock the cabinet, and there's a locked like drawer, you unlock that, and you know like. Because also part of the game design is thinking about larger groups working at the same time. So you want to be able to say, okay, like you 3 are working on this one. We're going to work on this one. If anyone finds other stuff, let us know. Like that's how you have to think that through too. So you don't want there to be like just one puzzle until the very end. like the very end, the climax, you should all be kind of like gathered around, working on it and getting it out. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have to say for escape rooms. I don't know if there's any other questions, concerns, or thoughts, but other ways I've seen the like humanness of it is walkie-talkies. People have used those.
Yes, that's how I've normally experienced it.
Actually. I don't love that.
Or a PA system in the room.
Yeah, I liked that we didn't have to talk to people. I really was appreciative of that. And we actually used a software that was specific for escape rooms for that, which was really cool.
Wow. The only time that I had a walkie-talkie one in an escape room that I played was we went to like Rhode Island, I think, for a friend's birthday. And it was like a bank heist. So like the lore, right? The lore was the game master was the security guard that we bribed, and he gave us a walkie-talkie so he could stay in communication with us.
I like that. That's cool.
It was pretty cool to like build it in.
We did have at our escape room, there was an intercom like option on the thing if we had to talk to them. We also had backup walkies in case something went down. Like if the whatever system was down or the internet was working weird, we could just give them a walkie. So that didn't happen often, but
yeah,
we were ready for it in case it did, because sometimes we would lose.
How many hints did you give?
So
like how often did you give
This is
hints?
where the game mastering really comes in.
Okay.
Because there's a doorbell in the room, and we say, ring this doorbell if you want a hint. That's pretty much all we would say. We also had a hint tracker on the board, which kind of helped determine the like how hard or easy a room is. Like our easier rooms, you get 5. Our harder rooms, you get 3. But like, we would give you as many hints as you needed to have fun.
Yeah.
So,
but like, so I guess here's my tricky reasoning behind asking the question. So from a video game design perspective, I'm thinking, right? How stupid, not stupid necessarily, but like
how bad at this escape room?
Right. Yeah. Like the average person, because obviously some groups like would either have somebody in it who's like super good. Some groups might be like super slow or not taking it as seriously. And that is a pretty good way of describing like gamer skill level. Like the people who like, we're making a game, we're making an adventure game where we have a bunch of puzzles. From your experience as an escape room game master, like how easy should puzzles be on average, or like how many hints should you plan on like giving?
I would say
for the average person.
Yeah, I would say 3 to 5 true hints is like a regular game.
Okay.
And I say true hints, like this is like a full hint, but also nudges.
Okay.
Which is
what is a nudge?
Right. So a full hint is like, we actually would pre-write them. We could use whatever we wanted, but usually you come up with ways to say what you want to say.
Okay.
So basically a full hint is something that's like, it's like basically telling you exactly what to do, usually in theme with whatever the room is.
Okay. So like the combination to the lock is northwest, south.
No, but it would be like the combination to the lock is on this document that you found over there.
Oh, okay.
But again, in theme. We wouldn't just say, we would be like, in the spooky drawer under the night, you'll find which way to go is right. I don't know. Some kind of fun way.
That was pretty good. Yeah. All right. And then a nudge would be like, remember that spooky drawer?
Yeah, exactly. It'd be like, you did open a box a couple minutes ago and didn't really look inside yet. ... You know, so it's like, the idea with a nudge is you don't want them to feel like they've given up a hint.
Okay.
Because they're playing with the limited hints that they have, and for them to think they won. Well, there's 2 kinds of groups. There's the groups that think they won if they used only the 3 hints they need and got out. And then there's the groups that think they won if they used no hints.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure that if you give them a nudge, the nudges too, they didn't ask for. That's the difference. So if they ask for a hint, I'm going to give them as much info as they need, and I'm going to make sure that they get the answer to the puzzle they asked for a hint for. You know what I mean? Like we're going to work on this together now. We're in it.
Yeah.
If they don't ask for a hint, but I know that they are lost in the sauce, I have to make it seem like maybe this is part of the game. It's not enough information for them to feel like I gave it away because they didn't ask for it. But I know from watching, hundreds of games that they're lost, but they're so close.
Yeah.
Because that has happened. It has happened where some random person in the group opens a box, glances inside, puts it on a shelf, doesn't tell anyone, and walks away. And you're just standing there staring there like, that has the answer in it. Please, God, no.
All right. So from a video game,
answer the question?
I'm gonna lead into it.
Okay.
I think it leads into another like sub question.
Okay.
So from a video game designer perspective, all right, we are making an adventure game. We want to bring nudges and hints into our system. Is there a way to do that? Because like a human can obviously process, oh, they are in need of a nudge.
Yeah.
Let me on the fly come up with something to assist them. Hints are pre-programmed. It sounds like hints. The way that you program that is you have a hint button in the game or something, and then the game has a pre-programmed.
You're like, hey, what's the hint? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So can a video game implement nudges?
I say yes.
Okay.
I think the example that came to mind immediately was Life is Strange.
Okay.
Because you'll be in the room, and if you've been in the room for a long time, the game starts going, we should really check out the upstairs. I think it's time to go upstairs.
Okay, and you would call that a nudge more than a hint?
I would, because I'm not asking the game to help me. And it's not really a hint, because it's telling me where to go next, but usually the game already has kind of told me where to go next.
Mm-hmm.
And either I've forgotten, so the game's like, hello.
Yeah. Or
I'm just like thinking there's something else in that room, and the game is telling me there is not anything else in this room. Okay,
so you would, I guess from my experience,
like
watching you, I would say Life is Strange pretty much only has nudges.
Yeah, I would say so.
Because it doesn't have a way for you to hey, what do I need to solve a puzzle?
I don't think many games have hints. Okay.
I guess explicit puzzle games often will have hints.
Like Orira,
yeah.
Telephone,
in Link's Awakening,
hint.
Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, you can go to phone booths and you can call Orira.
I'd say that's a hint.
Who will tell, in character,
right?
Tell you what he thinks you should do next, and that's just based on the triggers and checkpoints.
Chicory has one of the best hint systems, which is very similar to what we just described.
That's Pop, right?
Yeah,
your dad or something.
Basically you call home, which I think is already cute, and then your mother will give you kind of a more vague hint. But if you want to put dad on the phone, he'll give you literally go 2 screens over, 3 panels down. Look at this. And so it's just very good because you can because there's a lot of people who don't want a detailed hint. They want to figure some of it out on their own. Yeah. Then there's also people who are like, I am so stuck. Please tell me what to do.
So in Chicory, you would say mom is the nudge.
Well,
you still have to request it.
I think they're both hints, but yeah, mom leans more towards a nudge. Dad is a hint.
Okay.
Well,
all right.
Dad is just tell. I don't know. I think they're both hints because, again, worst, the last resort in the escape room is us telling someone how to do it like that.
That's true.
We still want them to feel like they figured it out. We're just literally saying have you noticed that this is blue and this is blue? And then usually they go, and then they solve it.
Yep. Okay. All right.
But yeah, I think it's kind of, or I guess this is kind of a nudge in Kirby, the Foregone Lands extension of Forgotten Lands.
Mm-hmm.
You have to collect Leongar's souls.
Yep. Spoiler alert.
Oh, we've already talked about this, but yes, I guess spoiler alert. The Elfilin, that's her name, right? Right? Elmelin?
Oh, I think it's Elfilin.
Who's Elmelin?
Elphilis?
Oh, I'm thinking about the D&D campaign we ran.
Yeah, Princess Elmelin, the elven princess of Elfheim.
Anyway, we'll say I think we found all the pieces here. And so you kind of know that you can move on. I think that's probably the best nudge in video games where it's just basically letting you know we're not going to make you leave.
But you're done here.
But there's nothing else to find.
Yeah.
So
you can do your own objective. But as far as we care, you're done.
You are done. And I think that is really helpful sometimes when you get obsessed with investigating something in an open world game and you're like, oh my gosh,
yeah.
But yeah, I will say I don't think nudges really exist in a platformer because there's not. I mean, I guess there can be visual nudges, right? I would actually say that the stars in Kirby that guide you where to go are visual nudges.
Oh yeah, because you follow the stars. That's how you progress the level a lot of the time.
Yeah.
100% of the time.
Yeah, and sometimes they will show you the secrets.
Yeah,
too.
if you follow the stars, like, oh, if that star goes straight up off screen,
right.
there's a line
You're like,
of them.
I probably want to go that way.
Those stars are arranged in the pattern of an arrow. I wonder if I should go in that direction.
Or I mean, even I don't know if this counts as a nudge, but similarly, like sometimes before a puzzle, like say in this puzzle you're gonna have to melt ice.
Oh yeah,
there'll be
fire.
a fire,
yeah.
so you can use that copy ability, and like so. Anyway, that's kind of a nudge too. Like, hey, maybe you should take this fire ability. Wink, wink.
Might be handy.
Yeah. So that's what I would say.
All right. Yeah. There's our discussion of escape rooms and nudges.
I was going to say, I think hints and nudges actually was the game design discussion.
Yeah, there we go. We got there.
But it was. Thank you for letting me talk about this, even though it's not a video game.
Are you thinking me or the listener?
I'm thinking both of you.
Oh, okay. Well, of course, yeah.
Because I didn't actually realize how fun it would be to talk about my days in the escape room. And you know what? I do want to shout out the Portsmouth Escape Room in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, which was my former employ. Excellent escape room. Go check it out.
So what are we going to do next?
Next, we have something called the rapid fire round. And that's where we generate 3 random words. We come up with a game idea based on those 3 words. We come up with a game name. And we only have 5 minutes to do it. And we're going to do that 3 whole times. Mm-hmm. And we're going to do it right now.
All right. I'm going to start the timer in 3, 2, 1.
Rhythm. Do. D-O. Tidy.
Okay. Do seems like a gimme.
I know. It's like, what do you do?
It's like a rhythm-based game where you're cleaning your room. So like Guitar Hero, Parappa the Rapper, DDR in a sense, but like I'm imagining it on like a controller. Actually,
I was imagining it in DDR style, actually.
I'm actually... So on the DS with the touchscreen, they had a game... I forget what it was called, but like basically the idea is you played as like this agency of people who would come and like cheer people up and motivate them through song and like dance.
This sounds like a make that game.
It
really does.
Yeah. And like, so you would tap the screen, and then some places like you could like, you had to hold on it and then like go back and forth. So you could do this with a mouse. This could be a PC game.
Okay. Yeah.
And the reason why I specifically am leaning towards this is the tidy, like you're clean, like this is a game about cleaning spaces, cleaning rooms. Mm-hmm. So that wipe action part of the rhythm, like rhythmic wiping.
And Isaac's just bringing his index finger back and forth, like wiping a window or like that kind of thing.
Yeah. And that is a tactile like cleaning thing that brings it more into it, and like the rest of the tapping is just kind of like, I don't know, represents like picking up boxes or moving them around or something. I can kind of see
like objects kind of like flying around, you know, like and then the fun part is at the end of each level you get like in the beginning it'll be
before and after shot of how clean you got it, and then how clean you like every element of like the rhythm game is tied to a specific piece of it. So like if you miss all the wipes, like things still have smudges on them.
I like this.
And like if you miss some of the taps, like there might still be like a rag on the floor.
Yes.
Where if you had hit that tap at the correct rhythm, like it would have knocked away off screen.
No, this is very good.
Okay.
So we're doing that, and then I think the music just needs to be great.
Yeah. Oh,
just
yeah.
Bops all around.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolute bops. Written for or licensed?
Written for.
Okay. Yeah. It would have to be written for.
I want people to be like talking about this music.
And we hire Taylor Swift to.
She does have a song named "Clean."
There we go. Okay, but what's the name? So this, I don't know. I just randomly came to my head. Tidy Star Heroes.
I love that.
Okay.
Actually.
All right.
It doesn't make a lot of sense, but it doesn't have to.
No.
Maybe you get a certain star rating based on how
maybe
clean. Yeah, Tidy Star Heroes.
Or maybe you are the heroes who are coming to like clean people's houses.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you're a hero squad. All right. So, we're all set with this one?
We're all set with this one.
1 minute and 50 seconds left on the clock.
Woohoo. All right, let's go. Next one.
All right, starting in 1, 2, 3, Go.
Faithful.
Ooh.
Role. ROLE.
Oh.
Archive.
Okay. All right. Do you have, first of all, since I kind of took the lead on the previous one, do you have anything that jumps out at you?
To be fair about the previous one, I was also thinking a rhythmic tidying game.
Okay.
Because what else would it be?
Okay.
But I was thinking like some kind of library game, like Archive and Faithful. There could be like I was thinking like the monks and monasteries and their chained books, and that was the only people who had books, and
okay,
that's where I was going with it.
All right, let's so I don't know about the chaining books, right? But what if this is like one of those like diner service style games only themed after a library? So Diner Dash, the SpongeBob game.
I love these games.
Right. So like people come to the library and they ask for a book on a certain topic, and you have to navigate the library, get to the correct section to grab the book, and then bring it back to them. And you have like multiple people coming in, and you have multiple sections that you need to get to, and you have to like optimize like your course through the library to grab all the books you need to bring to the front.
I like this. I feel like we're leaving out Faithful and Role.
Oh, shoot.
I feel like we've just Archive.
Okay, but okay, so yeah, if you are like a religious monk, there's the Faithful. If you're like a medieval library,
I think that's
run by
cool.
a church,
I think that's a fun setting. So let's do that.
And yeah, and then we stick with the gameplay idea of you running around grabbing. Maybe you're not grabbing books, but maybe the act of getting to the right section. You like copy notes from the book, so that because people are usually going to be asking you for like specific information, like who was the king of this land in 200 years ago, and then you go to that section and you go to the genealogical records, and then you write that down and you bring that back to them, instead of them asking for like, do you have any books on dragon slaying? But that could also be a thing, like, how do you slay a yellow dragon? Well, okay, let me go to that section. I don't know about role.
So it's ROLE, like a role you play.
Yeah.
I guess your role as a monk. I mean, we could use that as like the cop out kind of.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a. Is there a way that we can? Nah, I don't.
Well, because role is like the role, like a role in a play, your role in society. If it was ROLL, there'd be so many other things you could do.
Yeah, like you could have it so that the monk had a special dodge roll move that they could use to move faster, but they could hit a bookshelf and knock all the books down.
Or you got to roll dice or something. I don't know. There's lots of rolls we could do. But a roll, ROLE.
Yeah, no,
I think it does just have to be like the monk's role in society is to deliver knowledge, and that's like I think we just have to do that. So sorry about that, but that's what it is.
Okay, all right. Well, I think what's the name? I almost gave up. I almost said we're done.
Monastery Harry and his many books.
Monastery Harry and his many books. I'm not going to debate that one. 1 minute and 35 seconds left. If I saw that on the cover of a game, I think I'd go for it.
Okay,
I think I would.
Good. We're good at names today.
Yeah, I even came up with a name for my game. So wow,
we're on a roll. Roll, ROLL.
Wow.
Okay, anyway.
Yep, starting in 1, 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh boy. Dough. As if we need more dough in this.
DOUGH.
Yeah, what else?
DOE?
Oh.
Acting like there's only one
I didn't think about DOE. All right, anyway. Plaintiff, river.
Dough, plaintiff, river?
Yeah. Now, dough could mean like bread dough, but it could also mean money.
So obviously there is a heist going on. What's the second word? Plaintiff?
Just very law.
Is plaintiff is the person being charged?
I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah, which one is the plaintiff?
Plaintiff is a person who brings a case against another in a court of law. So it's like someone who is suing someone else.
Okay. So like if you were a bank robber, the plaintiff would be the bank. Mm-hmm. Okay. What's the third word?
River.
So
the river makes me think that you're trying to escape with the dough. You have to like cross a river.
But then
maybe you're
plaintiff makes me
on
think that it's that you've already gotten
it's like
in
a
jail.
courtroom game.
Yeah, that you're in a courtroom. But then where does the river come in? Because obviously, like, okay, you stole some dough.
Okay. You're on like a riverboat court.
Okay, riverboat justice?
Riverboat justice.
Okay, and now are you on, is it riverboat justice because this is a world like Snowpiercer where all life exists on riverboats and they have to do that? They couldn't just wait to bring you to dock and have you tried in a normal town?
I guess that makes the most sense.
Okay. Okay, so you are a person who did a heist on a riverboat.
Yeah.
And you have to defend yourself again in the court of law.
In the river.
In the river. Okay. And okay, so here's the twist. So okay, I'm imagining Phoenix Wright is like the archetypal like law game.
I don't know that game.
It's a DS game. You might have seen memes about it because its big thing is like you could do an objection and it would have this big objection, and like a big flashing objection would appear on the screen. I haven't
seen it, but yeah, I'll look into it anyway. So
yeah, it's like it's basically like it's a lot of a talkie game.
Okay, yeah, I mean that makes sense for a law game. Yeah,
right. So the twist is that you did not actually commit the crime. And so you have to defend yourself in the trial and
kind of solve the crime. Yeah, this is good.
On the riverboat, which because it's a riverboat. They would have a brig. So you would be in the brig. So you can't really solve a crime from the brig.
Maybe they don't have it. Their brig is gone.
Maybe you control two characters. Maybe you are the person who's defending himself and
the lawyer.
And yeah, who can solve the crime.
Yeah.
Or I guess if you are the lawyer at all, then you
could just be the lawyer.
Yeah, so you're just so you have a defendant that you're okay. All right. So, okay. What's our riverboat crime game?
I'm trying to think like there's the rolling down the river, law in on the river, lawyers on the river.
Lawyers on the river. A riverboat lawyer story.
There's got to be like a good riverboat song that we can make them. Old Man River.
What's the name of the song that they sing in Over the Garden Wall on the riverboat?
I don't know what the name of that song is.
Probably
that's riverboat. Okay, how many time?
How many time? We have 1 minute and 5 seconds.
Come on,
she's
Spotify.
shaking her phone, folks.
Spotify's not
She's shaking her phone trying to make it search faster.
That's how it works.
That isn't actually how it works.
Half Moon River, I think. McLaughlin Brothers Jug Band.
Okay, all right, that doesn't work. I don't think.
No.
I don't think we can do that. How about we just call it River Law?
River Law. Lawyers on the river.
I think we already said that one.
Okay, River Law.
To drown a mocking fish. I guess that's not really that the context of that one is that's just the only law story I could think of.
Rowan to justice.
No, okay, we're
Motor
on
into justice.
We've got 1 second.
What is it?
We failed. I'm sorry, I couldn't remember any of the names we came up with except for River Law.
Well, then it's River Law.
Okay, well then we didn't fail. We did it in 5 minutes.
I don't think we did. We had time.
See, that's the punishment that's the consequence of failing is apparently
I look
bad
sad.
Feels like real sad. Like reals like destitute. Wait, is that the word I'm thinking of?
No, because destitute is like
means
you have
like
no money.
Poor. Okay. What word am I thinking of,
I mean,
folks?
deflated was a good one.
Deflated, yeah. You did deflate,
That's not what you're thinking of, I don't think. But I mean, it's a good word.
Yeah, it is a good word. Thanks.
Well,
I have some good words.
Anyway, if you have good words for us, you can email us at makethatgamepodcast@gmail.com. You can also find us on social media, Make That Game Pod, on the social media that you use. And you can also give us a 5-star rating and review on iTunes or Spotify. We love it and appreciate it. And if you just talk about the podcast, like if you listen to this podcast, we just appreciate the word of mouth,
Yeah.
Like tell people.
Tell your friends.
Tell your friends. And then also, if you heard a game, also we're going to stream. We're going to be streaming.
Yeah, next weekend.
Yeah, so the 24th.
The 24th.
At 4 Eastern.
Yep.
Twitch.tv/make-that-game.
Or is it daytime, daylight?
4 ET. It is standard time right now.
Okay. 4 p.m. EST. Yeah.
If you follow us on twitch.tv/make-that-game, you'll get a notification that we go live anyway. But yeah, it will be 4 p.m. We're going to do the Rogue-like Light Gauntlet.
Yeah.
Which is going to be me playing rogue ... games and trying to guess if they are like or light, and all culminating in me playing the rogue.
The rogue of the name Rogue. So, the rogue that started it all.
Which will be a blind playthrough. I have never played that before. So
I've probably never even seen it.
No, I don't think so. Unless I've seen it in like social media and not known what it was. But yeah, Isaac's laughing so maniacally that I am now nervous. So no. Of the game. Yeah. So you definitely want to join us for that. And if you follow us on social, we'll probably post about it if we remember. So that being said, in the meantime, if you heard a game today that you think needs to exist in this world, I'm thinking the River Law one. Just throwing that out there. We encourage you to get out there and make that game.